Hello.
And he was very passionate about it.
Another interview. They'll
He
be on
did.
in
I mean, he loved what he
Okay.
did.
Here we go. Hey, how are you?
Hey, hi.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going good. I've been having a little bit of technical problems here for the last half an hour.
Oh, it happens. I completely understand.
Yeah, well, I got you, so that's good.
Great.
I
You
don't know if
ready to
anyone
begin?
else is on here.
Annie's
I'm
here. I'm Sammy.
Hi, Sam.
Yes. Annie was here. I think she went whatchamacallit, silent though.
It'll be just a second.
Okay.
He's just wrapping the last
Guy in
review,
the
so
cell
he'll be here
next
in a
to him.
second.
Who
Okay,
really-
perfect.
you
Just
gotta-
like another minute.
you know,
Sure.
Sammy,
Yes.
do you like the phone this way or this way?
The way there, like just how you have it now is perfect.
Like that?
Yes.
Okay. Let me do something here real quick.
Yeah.
Where are you located?
Pennsylvania. How about you?
Where are you?
I'm Pennsylvania by
Pennsylvania,
Penn
okay.
State. Yes. What about you?
I'm on the Chesapeake Bay in Virginia.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. From Richmond, Virginia, originally.
Oh, okay.
But-
Okay.
Now full time on the Bay. Yeah,
Very nice.
my phone, everything seems to be going south on me. Hold on one second.
Take your time.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been having some really good moments here.
So, gentlemen, tell me about this project of yours. It's incredible, and I can't wait to hear how you describe it.
Okay.
I'm going to do my standard. Al came up with the idea originally, and he found me, and we got together and formed a partnership to make this film. And I'll let him give you more of the backstory on it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the way it began was I moved into an office building that was owned by the judge's son. And I told somebody about my new office, and they asked me why the judge was famous. So I told them what I knew, which got me interested in doing some more research. I started researching the judge, and I was like, wow, this guy was like in the middle of all this really high profile stuff. And that sort of happens in history. There are people just in the middle of everything. And so that got me more curious. I started doing more research, and then just thought it would make a good documentary, and started looking around for a director. Somebody recommended Bob. I got in touch with him, talked to him about the film. We both thought he thought it was a good idea as well. And so that's how it started. And we started working on the movie, trying to raise money to make it happen. And in order to do that, we formed a nonprofit and raised money, made the movie, started interviewing people and getting archival footage, and that's how it started. So seemed like the judge seemed like a very compelling figure in many ways. An American hero who didn't consider himself to be a hero. He just thought he was doing his job. So we thought it was worth making a movie about him.
Very nice. And what would you say were some of the biggest challenges about making this movie? Again, this is for both of you.
Okay.
I think just the nature of documentary work, you're kind of starting, a lot of times you're starting very little except for the idea. And so you start the hunt for archive, you start to research, and that can get quite complicated. complicated and can take a lot of time. Fortunately for us, because we were based out of Richmond, Virginia, and that's where the judge's court was, there were documentation that was in the city and courts, court buildings, as well as the University of Richmond, and then individuals that also had material that as time went on, people were hearing about the film being made, and they were actually contacting us. So there was a lot of time spent in the research and the archival side of it.
Al, what about you? Anything you'd like to add?
Well, some of the challenges were sort of moderated by the fact that there were so many people who wanted to talk to us about the judge. So for the most part, getting interviews set up was not that difficult. Sometimes scheduling was a problem, but people wanted to tell their story. They wanted to tell their story about the judge because in many ways, talking about the judge was sort of talking about the best things about what they did, because the judge was interested in fairness, was interested in justice. That was what his career was all about, trying to do the fair thing and the right thing. And so a lot of people wanted to help us make the film, and they wanted to tell their story about the judge, in part because the judge, I think, represented in many ways the best part of what they did. And so they wanted to tell the story. Telling his story in some way was like telling their story. So the interview part was maybe easier than it would have been otherwise. I mean, there were some people who didn't want to talk about the judge, didn't want to tell the story, but for the most part, that was not a problem. Archival film was a bit of a problem. We were lucky that we found as much as we did, because a lot of the local TV stations who at one time had a lot of film on the judge had just dumped all their film stock when they went to digital, because they just couldn't store it anymore. So a lot of the local news stuff, which would have been plenty, didn't exist anymore. But we found enough to sort of make it work, and that was a tribute to Bob and the editors, Scott, really being able to put the interviews and whatever archival film we did come up with together to tell the story. We're just trying to tell the story of the judge, the essence of the judge. So that was what we were trying to do. Hopefully that came through. So, and we want more people to find out about the judge, because finding out about the judge will help them find out about how democracy is supposed to work and what we should keep working on, making it a real democracy where it works for everybody. Because ultimately, if it doesn't work for everybody, it doesn't work for anybody. And the judge believed that. So hopefully that message will come through as well, and will inspire more people to study about the democracy we live in and how to keep improving it, how to keep making it work. So.
That's incredible. Yeah, it seems like you have an incredible movie on your hands, and I can't wait to see the reaction to it.
I mean, so far what we've been getting has been very encouraging. People seem to really respond well to the movie, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback. I'm sure there will be people who don't have quite that reaction, but that will be in part maybe because they felt that the judge was too liberal or trying to shake things up too much, or as one of the judges in the film said, maybe the judge was ahead of his time. Well, hopefully now the judge this is his time. So it's a good time to tell the story. So that's what we're hoping. Is Bob still with us?
I think he left us. I think he was having computer issues.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm here.
Yes, well, I'm happy to have you, and hopefully Rob will come back. But yeah, so for you, what was your favorite part about making the film?
My favorite part about making the film was just telling the judge's story, finding out about the judge, learning about the judge. A very interesting person, and there's just something about telling a story that so many people loved and respected, and so you want to find out more about him as you're making the film. The more we worked on it, the more interesting he became, and um, and so we started thinking, well, it's like, it's really too bad we're not doing like a series of shows on the judge, because there was a lot we couldn't put in the movie, a lot of material that just can't use it all. And so, as I mentioned, we were just trying to capture his essence. What was it about him that made him such a compelling figure and such a beloved figure to many people? And obviously there were a lot of people that didn't like him very much. I mean, his life was threatened. His family's lives were threatened. His guest house was burned down. Somebody shot his dog. Yeah. So and all the while this stuff was happening, the judge just kept doing his job. So it was not an easy environment to work in, but one of the things that he always said, as a World War II veteran on a B-17 bomber, which was flying like combat missions. Well, if Hitler couldn't kill me, they can't kill me. And that was, just a way for him to get through it, just try to, because it's never happened to me, but I'm sure it's not a very pleasant experience to have a lot of people threatening your life for doing your job, for upholding. So I think it's Bob's back.
Yay, Bob.
I have no idea. I went south and I just worked through it and got back on. Sorry about that. Been having problems all afternoon.
No worries, it happens. We were just talking about Al's favorite part about making the movie.
What was that part, Al?
Well, just the fact that as we worked on it, the judge became more and more interesting, and that so many people obviously loved and respected him. So in a way, it was just it became more and more enjoyable, and it never got to be like a job.
No.
And so that was my favorite part, and also learning about the judge as we worked on, learned more about the judge, more about the people he came in contact with. So what was your favorite part?
This is like true confessions. I think mine's always the process. I mean, I'll have to say that being the judge is the last film for now, last credit. Just the whole process of making a film. It's always challenging. This one in particular was very challenging. And I think that, the process was just, it worked. And for me as a filmmaker, that's, once I get into it, that's it. I'm good to go. I think, it did rekindle a lot of the things that I came across early in my career, because I worked in television and TV and news documentary work in film departments. So I was actually very familiar with the judge, as Al knows, with a lot of the cases and a lot of the things that were going on in the state of Virginia. As a matter of fact, I covered a lot of them. So when Al contacted me, it sort of rekindled all of that for me, and I thought it would be a good film. And so I think hopefully we did make a good film. I think we did.
Nice. And what was one lesson learning about the judge that you think you learned from the judge by making this?
For me?
For both of you, yeah.
Yeah, I think it, again, I used this earlier today. It made me pause many, many times about our democracy, the courts, laws, rules. that were getting just sidestepped for many years recently. And I think it really just it helped me as an individual, I think, to be a healthier person, just reflecting on all the material, just going through it, and then thinking about where this country was as we were going along, and how this judge handled he had hundreds of cases that came before his bench. So it was a real eye opener on a professional level and a personal level. Yeah.
Al, what about you? Yeah.
Well, for me, it made me think of what's the nature of democracy, and the judge's emphasis on doing the fair thing and doing the right thing made me start thinking about just democracy and how we're really all in this together, and the judge working for equal opportunity for women, for African Americans, for whoever was not being afforded the opportunity that's supposed to be provided by living in America. That ultimately it's got to work for everybody, or it doesn't really work for anybody. And so the more we can be truly democratic, truly colorblind, gender blind, just everybody gets a fair shot. Obviously, you can't guarantee that anybody's going to, have the same level of success, but everybody should have the same opportunity. And the more people feel like they've got that opportunity, the better it is for all of us. So, we're all in it together, and it doesn't work for anybody if it doesn't work for everybody. And so I really started thinking about that just by learning about the judge and the courts and the law, or learning things that I thought I knew and then realized I didn't know. I understood more about the courts and the founding principles of the country and how it really ought to work. And so I hope everybody comes away with a renewed respect and interest in democracy and making it work for everybody. That's my hope.
Beautiful. And before I let you guys go, do you each have something else you want to say about the movie?
I've said this many times in other interviews. I hope that a lot of young people take it in. And when I say young, I'm gonna put a cap at 50 and under. I think maybe 40 and under. I'm not sure. My son's a lawyer, and it was interesting his response to the film. He's only in his early 30s, but there were a lot of things that he was familiar with, but there were things that were really clarified for him. So as a lawyer, he said he thought it really served a good purpose on many levels. And so that's one of my hopes. Yeah.
Yeah, as I just said, I hope everybody comes away with it, first of all, with an interest to find out about the judge. And by finding out about the judge, they find out more about the legal system, the Constitution, and sort of engenders the spirit of wanting to participate more in democracy, be more involved, know more about what's happening in the country, know more about how it works, and just get more involved. And as I said, make it a truly democratic country. We have the opportunity. We should take advantage of it. And if you don't participate, you could wind up without it.
Exactly. Well, gents, thank you so much for this interview. I appreciate you, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.